he took a 2x4 when we got home and like spanked the shit out of me like over and over, and I couldn't even like sit down. And that, I mean, that's 5th grade-ish, so that's like 12 years old maybe, something, I don't know. There's 2 half brothers, but he had them when he was 18, so they're already about to retire age, you know, so it's like we didn't ever have a relationship because they were grown adults with their own families already by the time I was even in high school.
So the age gap in your mom and your dad is 20 years? Like 20-something?
18-ish, yeah, close,
or something like that. When you say your mom is like had, I guess, a childish mind, immature mind state, how did that affect the way she raised you, though?
She didn't really know how to nurture, and that coupled with like medication and the brain injury, she would like be there, but it was like sometimes even though she was there, she wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd say I kind of struggle with like the nurturing side of things. My dad did as best he could teaching that, but that's something a mother needs to teach their son or daughter. So, and then she left when I was 10, and they got divorced, and she moved in with her parents.
Your mom left when you was 10.
And she lived there with, I think she might still live with her mom. I don't know. Her dad just passed away back in April. I went to that funeral. That was strange. Seeing a lot of her siblings and I guess my aunts and aunts, and then their kids. So it was a interesting funeral for sure.
So there's no connection with them.
Mm-mm.
Did that bother you?
I want to say it bothered me. Maybe, I mean, at first, sure, but like at a certain point, it's like they're just people that weren't there.
Yeah.
Versus like people that are there and are malicious or whatever, right? So like, just a person that's not in my life, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
How did your dad connect with you? What was y'all's connection?
So being older, he's very, you know, disciplined. Being in the military too, always very structured, rigid. Nothing was ever good enough. And on one hand, that makes me push harder than I think anyone I know personally. Just to like right now, for example, I got home yesterday, 2:30 in the morning from Nashville. Woke up at 8 and been doing chores and day job and some music marketing and social media. And now I'm here interviewing, and you just gotta do what you gotta do. So
yeah. So yeah, did you struggle with trying to impress your dad?
Yeah.
As you were growing up?
100%.
So everything you did was not necessarily for yourself, but more to make him proud?
Yeah. Especially with like schooling and stuff like that. He was very strict on that. And like, luckily the school and stuff like that came naturally to me, and I didn't have an issue with that. But like, I remember like being super young. It was like, okay, you get all A's, you get $1 per A. It's like, okay, cool. And then by the time it's like 12, 13, it's just like, if you don't get all A's, you're grounded. And then that coupled in with sports too. He was a big sports guy. When he was in high school, the town went like 7 years undefeated or something. And so like low key, he peaked in high school too, but it's whatever. But so he's just very like competitive,
Yeah.
you know. And he didn't have his dad around. His dad was a train conductor
Okay.
for the railroad, and so he was not around a lot. So his real big male role model was his football coach. I think part of that's that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the you said he was in the service, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the football coaches back then, they were heavy.
Yeah.
Do you feel like he wanted to? He didn't reach his height. Did he want to go further than high school? Like, because you said he reached his peak in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that was something he wanted to really live out, and he might have
100%.
threw that spirit on you?
100%. Because he was always very artistic, business-minded person, but from his generation, he couldn't do that because it was like you got to be the straight-laced, flat top, you know, type of person, and I think you could see that out of all of his kids, I'm definitely the black sheep one that's like artistic and nerdy and just, you know, all kinds of things. So I think a little bit of it was to keep that pressure on me to, because sometimes those kind of people can end up pretty soft.
What kind of people?
Just like artistic,
Okay.
nerdy, you know, like.
Got you.
And I think in some way, like I said, everything's got a good and a bad from like this result, right? But I think some of it is like I'm still in touch with all that stuff, so I can relate to a lot of different kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like the tougher side that where like if I need to do and come across a certain way, I can put up those walls.
Yeah.
And like be that alpha presence that I need to be. So
when it comes to your dad and what's one of the, you know, if you can remember, what's like one of at his worst moments with you trying to raise you and discipline you and get you on track. You get what I'm saying? Like what was actually the happiest and the worst, but starting with the worst. What did a bad time look like with him, and what did a happy time look like with him?
It's a tough question, man. There's probably the worst one, like discipline wise, was I was probably in like 5th grade, and I think it was art class or something, and I had gotten in trouble for talking, and I had to write, "I will not talk in class" on the back of the paper, whatever. And then there was, I got in trouble at school, and I got sent to like the timeout room, whatever it's referred to as. And so he found out about both of those because I brought that painting home. It was a really cool painting. The painting I got 97 out of 100 on as a grade, but because I had the "I will not talk in class," he lost his shit on top of the getting sent to the timeout room. So he took a 2x4 when we got home and like spanked the shit out of me like over and over, and I couldn't even like sit down. And that, I mean, that's 5th grade-ish, so that's like 12 years old, maybe something. I don't know. Maybe 6th grade, 5th or 6th grade. But that was the last time he spanked me, also, though. So I think he knew a little bit. Now looking back on it, he probably did know that he went too far.
A little too far.
And then the happiest one is the tough one. Is in college and doing my thing, you know. I worked my way through everything, paid for all my schooling because I needed to learn, and I always wanted to do something entrepreneurial. So I went to business school and would work 40 hours a week and still broke. He's broke too, retired.
Yeah.
He came and visited me, and we went out to eat, and he used his last 100. And then at the time I was also like really into drugs and like was pretty messed up. And we went back to my place, and he told me that he was proud of me still.
Was that the first time you heard that?
Yeah. Fuck, man. Woo. I was not expecting this.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Good. All right, we'll move a little bit from that. Now, looking at where you are now and putting all that together, what are some of the things that you look at like good and because beauty and the madness?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's also your brand.
Yeah. Shout out. Shout out.
Beauty. What is the beauty you found in what happened in those times?
Being able to take all this and be the voice for people that don't and can't deal with this.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of it. You get to make beautiful art.
Yeah.
Songs that sound like a theme song, a fun song, whatever it is, that's the beauty of it. You get to take that pain and like turn it into something beautiful.
Something beautiful. When you started school, from those times, how was it going through school with you? Because I know a lot of people, when you experience these things at home, it usually, a lot of the times, the people at school feel it, or you hide it at school and nobody ever knows. Like you just you hide it behind either joking on people all the time, or you just super happy, or just partying all the time. How was school for you? I guess
I was always
high schoolish. Middle school.
High school specific. Like you want like little kid time or like high school? Time?
We could go through all of them. We can go.
As a little kid, I was pretty much always a leader. And even if it was a situation where like I wasn't the best one on the team, or maybe it was even like something in class and maybe someone was better at a certain subject or whatever, but like people would always flock to me, and I would like see people's characteristics and like, okay, well, this is what you're better at. Let's put this together. And so like I would always make games and draw them and like color them myself and like play games with people. Like in 3rd grade, I made, you know what Yu-Gi-Oh is?
Who?
Yu-Gi-Oh, the card game, like anime. Yeah. Huge Yu-Gi-Oh fan.
Okay.
So our school wouldn't allow us to have Yu-Gi-Oh cards because everyone was playing them and it was distracting and everything. So I said, okay, I still want to play this with my friends on the concrete, right, or on the playground. So I went home and I made 2 decks myself. I put out the paper, I drew out the cards, wrote the effects, titles, illustrated them, colored them, cut them out, put them together, took them to school the next day, and then everyone were playing Yu-Gi-Oh with my version. And the playground dude came over and he's like, we told you guys, we just had an assembly, you cannot play Yu-Gi-Oh. And I was like, this isn't Yu-Gi-Oh. He's like, well, what is it? And I said, I made these. And he walked away. And I was just like, got your ass, let's go. So that was the younger version of myself, right? So then you get to high school, and then high school, everyone's trying to be cool and fit in.
Yeah.
And so I'm the weirdo doing my own thing. And like, so high school, I became like kind of an outcast. But it didn't bother me because I found my friends. I've had a group of long-time friends since high school, but I found them middle, late. Not like I was always cool with them because it's a small town, but like really became friends with them mid to late high school. We bonded over like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and Nintendo and shit like that. And So I wasn't ever worried about it because I also knew that in that town, all those kids that were like the cool kids and the exclusive shit, they were all going to be drunks that never leave the town or get some girl pregnant and, you know, work a factory job. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's just not what I wanted for myself.
Which town we talking about?
Independence, Kansas.
Independence. Okay.
Yeah, which is southeast Kansas, like 20 minutes from the Oklahoma border.
Okay.
So it never really bothered me because I was just like, hey, you guys can do whatever. Like, I still got a 4.0. I still know how to go to college. I'm smart. Like, I'm out of this bitch. Like, it's funny because we have one of the biggest graveyards in Kansas in this town.
Okay.
And at one point, this town had the most millionaires per capita in the entire country.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of the oil money from the Indian tribes. It's kind of from northeast Oklahoma, like Bartlesville was Phillips 66. Henry Sinclair, you know the green dinosaur?
No.
You ever seen the gas station with the green dinosaur?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sinclair. It's the Henry part you get to.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So that's Henry Sinclair, Sinclair Oil. He lived in Independence for a while too. So like, there used to be a lot of old money, but it's all gone. And hasn't had a lot of money in probably 40 years. So, but a lot of the people there still act like they have money, but they don't. And so, but that graveyard is the biggest graveyard, and the joke is if you don't get out, that's where you end up. I mean, obviously, if you don't leave, you're going to end up.
Right.
But I lived across the street from this graveyard. And I used to work on this main street, and I worked at this ice cream restaurant, and working at the counter, every day you look out and you see this graveyard. I was like, no.
Fuck that.
That's not where I'm going. Like, I'm not afraid to die, but I'm not going to die there. And so.
Oh, so seeing that graveyard actually pushed you, because I would have just not worked there. Seeing the graveyard over there.
Oh, no.
I don't want to look at no graveyard all day, but I can see how that can motivate you to be like, I'm out of here type deal. College life was, because you said you went to a JUCO?
Yeah, so I stayed in Independence for the first 2 years of college. I fought mixed martial arts during that time. And I continued it for a little bit when I moved after that to Pittsburgh, but it was just too much training and school and work. So I was just like, So I dropped that so I wanted to finish school. So
what made you take to mixed martial arts?
I needed an outlet that I didn't have from those, because once I didn't get recruited for anything for college sports. So I needed that outlet still, that competitive, get the aggression out. Like, I always worked out and did things, but I needed that like competitive part. And so there was a gym, the only gym in town, and I was going there, and then one of the guys there started a club, and it had been probably 2 or 3 years into that club, and they were starting to do their thing, and they were fighting in like Branson and a couple other cities. It just interested me, and I was like, I want to try it out. Just went up there and learned that I couldn't fight, and then learned to fight, and then
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a great skill to have. It makes you feel so much more like anywhere I go, I know I'm cool. Unless you got a gun or a knife, I'm pretty much cool. Like, you know.
You walk with a little more confidence.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Chest out.
Yeah,
chin
exactly.
up, you know?
Exactly.
When you think when we combine your upbringing with all of that, and how do you exist with relationships with women or men? I don't know what you mean. Women.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Women. How do you exist in relationship? Are you?
It's tough because I know I'm a dismissive, avoidant type of person where like I show my best self at first, and then when things get put to a position of like, this is a serious thing now beyond just like dating, it's a very scary territory for me to be in. And it's just I'm currently navigating that right now. So
It through therapy, through
just learning online and life experiences, and just trying to like take in stimulus and figure out what everything means.
When you say learning online, what you mean?
I research all the time. I'm a big health nut, so like I'm constantly, oh, what is that? Like even like dismissive avoidant. I had to learn what my type of and that's emotional something. I can't remember the name of it, but they have the different types. There's like anxious avoidant and all that stuff. And I wanted to research, and I was like, okay, well that's kind of maybe that's kind of not. And that one's the one that fits the most, where it's like I show my best self, and then when things get more weighted, I tend to like withdraw. Which is also in friendships too.
Really?
Like unless you're like a very long time friend of mine, it's like I'll show you my best and I'll tell you everything about myself. But then it's like, oh, like we're friends now. I'm kind of like, I don't want to kind of don't want to be friends anymore, you know. So
What do you think you're running from within those friendships or
to get hurt again and left, like my mom left me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why won't you take it on though? You know, because there's other ways you've been hurt before and you continue to, you know.
Yeah, I think that ties into a whole like part of me is scared to be successful because
yeah,
like if your whole life has been stressful and like a wreck, you have moments where it's not and you're like, what the fuck is that? You know? And it's like you subconsciously do things to sabotage yourself.
Yeah.
You know? And that's right now I have people that like are maybe not even aware, but just like feed off that and can correct me. Which is why I think things are going well right now, and I can't. Like I keep trying to fuck shit up for myself, but people are like, you know. So.
Because part of you think you don't deserve happiness.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy that you try to make it worse, but you say you thrive better in chaos too at the same time.
I do. That's the fucked up part.
Yeah.
Because it's like when it's messed up and everything's like chaotic, I create so much cool stuff because that's where I've always drawn from is like the dark, like some of my favorite, like one of my favorite movie styles is Tim Burton, like Beetlejuice and like Nightmare Before Christmas and stuff like that. Okay. I love the darkness because like darkness doesn't always mean evil.
Yeah.
Darkness just means like it's heavy, it's like intense, you know. So and it's just harder for me to create when it's all a light. Even when it is a light, I like to put the dark stuff with it too.
So you need something to fix.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
You break things so you can fix them.
Exactly. Damn. Yeah.
You break things so you can fix them.
I break them so I can fix them.
I completely understand. I understand that in the sense of that makes a person feel like they have value.
Right.
To something. But at the same time, it's hard to understand because you don't think you deserve to be valued. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like it's always like a catch-22 where it's like, if I do that, I don't have this thing. If I do that thing, I don't have this thing.
It's because you really want it.
Yeah.
You don't know how to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be tough for any woman in your life that's like trying to bring something happy to your life, or you know, because you don't want to be alone, bro. No, I don't think nobody. I'm talking about maybe now, right now, maybe you want to be alone.
No, I'm in a relationship right now.
Oh, okay, so
which is it's been I put her through hell, man.
At least you can acknowledge that right now. But
yeah,
what does hell look like with you?
Being a different person for different periods. Going through my brother's death and that whole period, addiction is like, I can't imagine sitting there and watching your partner do that to themselves.
Yeah, it's this is different from you, but you know the accident I was telling you about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I always wondered what that looked like from the person that hit me on.
Right.
I always like, yeah,
How did they? I was the one that did that. Yeah.
yeah, like you're looking at a person go off of a hill and rolling like that,
Yeah.
and that's got to be like fucking. What's the word? That not detrimental. I can't even traumatizing. Traumatizing. Yeah. I couldn't think of the word. That's got to be fucking traumatizing.
Yeah.
So her sitting there watch you do what you're doing to yourself. That's got to be traumatizing for her, and it can also, let's just say this doesn't work, fuck her up in further relationships because of watching her partner there. It may even make her even more overprotective. And you know, us as men, we kind of like,
Yeah. Exactly.
oh man, like, but
Exactly.
all she has to go off is what she experienced. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see another person go down this road. What does what are your addictions, or were your addictions, or you know?
Yeah. Currently, I mean, in college, it was like downers. So like Klonopin was a big one I had an issue with.
What is that?
Klonopin, it's like similar to like Xanax.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So yeah, Xanax too, but Xanax I didn't like as much. I don't know why. Just Klonopin was my preferred one. Drinking. And now I don't have an issue with like the frequency of drinking. It's the amount when I do drink.
Yeah.
It's like a faucet. Turn that shit on and
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So I try to not do that. I've came a long way, and I'm very self-aware of things. And it was, I mean, during the grieving process from my brother's passing, that was when I really had to learn to control the drinking again. Because I think a lot of the college shit was like, yeah, I was stressed and everything, but I was also around it all the time too. But after that, when my brother died, that was my own doing of like, I should be a professional person or whatever, right? But now it's like, now I'm going to this bar of my own, like off work. I'm going to the bar, sitting there, drinking until 10 p.m., going home, waking up, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Talk about your brother's passing. His name, what exactly happened?
Yeah, so his name's Chris. He died in 2018, February 7th. He got a rare form of like blood cancer, leukemia, acute myeloid. And he had been sick with like what we thought was like a flu. And he was just like, oh, I'm always like, I'm tired, you know. Plus he was in college. I had just graduated, but he was still in college. He's a year and a half, close to 2 years younger than me. And so he just, all of a sudden, I go to the hospital tonight. I'm like, oh shit. And then the next morning he's like, hey, calls me on the phone crying. And it's like 6 a.m. And I'm like, what the hell, man? And he's like, yo, the doctor needs to talk to you. I was like, okay. I talked to the doctor, and the doctor's like, he has this form of cancer.
Yeah.
We're going to get him from the urgent care to the big facility, whatever. And I was like, okay. And so in my mind, it's like, oh, he's got cancer. So now we have chemo, we have this, right? It's not like this day's happening thing, right? So he's like, he gives the phone back to my brother. My brother's still crying. And I was like, hey, I'm going to take off work today. I'm just going to come down and be with you. You know, this is crazy. And so I was shook, got off the phone with him. I was like, we're going to figure this out. We're going to get holistic health We're going to get everything we can do before we even try chemo. Just stay positive. You can fight this, da-da-da. And he was like, okay. And so I was getting ready for work. And so he was living in Wichita at the time. And I was in Overland Park. And so take the day off work, finally get ready. And so I'm driving down the highway. And I'm like, I'm going to pick my dad up because he's super old at this point. I don't really like him driving. He doesn't drive now, but at the time he was still driving, but he wasn't very good at it. So it's like, hey, I'm going to pick him up and then go to Wichita. So I get about 15 minutes outside of getting my dad, and I get a call from the hospital. And it's like, hey, is Tom Jones there, the father of Chris? And I was like, no, this is his son, like his brother. I'm about to go get him. He's like, oh, we were told that he was here. I was like, no. And she said, well, your brother's heart has stopped, and we've been doing CPR already, and we can't get it to restart. And so I'm on the middle of the highway driving, and I'm just like instant shock.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, no. And she's like, I'm so sorry. Like I was like, she's like, please get to where you're going and get out of the car. And so I hung that up, and then called my girlfriend, and then she answered. She had just gone to work, and I'm just fucking, he's dying. I'm just fucking screaming. Mm-hmm. And then so she's like now in shock and like crying and doesn't know what to do. And so like it's just me screaming he's dying for like 5 minutes and her crying and saying I'm sorry. And then finally I get closer, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go. And so I get there, and I get to my dad's house, and then they call us back, and they're like, we're gonna put the phone up to his ear. We don't know if he can hear you or not, but he didn't respond to any of the CPR. And that was that.
And he was 21?
Yep.
Around 21?
Yep.
And you was around 23?
Yep.
So, yeah. How did you ever, you said you picked up your dad?
Yes.
How did he respond to it? And then your mom, like, did she ever find out about it? Or
She did.
Just
She used to live in the same town.
Yeah.
And I think next day maybe or something, she called us while we were at the funeral home. I don't remember. But she did find out. It's a small town. Like the news was like, and like at that point I wasn't far enough removed from it to be like, if that happened, the people wouldn't know right away. Like the small town, I've been removed, but not long enough to where like something like that happens, everyone still knows right away. So then after that, we just stayed at my dad's house for a little bit because I was like, I don't even want to drive or anything. Oh, but before that, when they put the phone up to his ear, what I told him is that I was going to live life for both of us. And I was finally going to do music. And yeah, that's what I told him.
You're likely your your little brother's protector. Probably in the household, you was his protector or whatever. So the way it affected you is completely understandable. You probably blamed it on yourself for not, but there was nothing you could do about that. No. There was nothing anybody could do about that. And he didn't feel it for like months or nothing like that. It was just like within that short time.
Yeah, it went from like flu to tank. Like, yeah.
There was absolutely nothing you could do about it.
Yeah.
So beating yourself up about that is, I know it's easier said than, but my mom deals with that with what we think was unaliving her little sister, unaliving herself. She it just came out of nowhere, and she struggles with it to this day, blaming herself or whatever. And it's just like, if you say you're gonna live for both of us, I would imagine he would want you to live for both of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Versus blaming yourself for what happened.
Right.
And with living, that means appreciating that person that's in the house with you a little more. You know, I don't know if y'all in the same house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We live together.
Yeah. Because what we tend to do is like shut off the people around us. Not really shut them off, but treat them a type of way when we go through things, and then when we lose them, it's the same thing over again. We start to blame ourselves for that one. Oh, if I would have been more present for this and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you? So it's easier said than done, like I said, challenge you to really start standing on your word with your brother. Live. Because you said you caught the goosebumps when you came in here, so he wanted you to be here for a reason.
Yeah.
Really start living. Earlier you talked about, is it bipolarness?
Yeah.
You got whatever.
Not as much the depression, but it's like the manic. I think part of that is going through like the nothing's ever good, tying it all back to that, nothing's ever good enough. So it's like, I'm going to push myself to the brink of like collapse. And so it's just like, go. And so I just ramp up. And then I do crash, but I don't want to call it bipolar because the crash is never a depression. It's just a crash. Okay. But the manic can be crazy because like, that's like the ego unhinged, So.
You think as far as with your brother, you doing that you wasn't good enough type of thing, like not because you said nothing's ever good enough, going back to that, but even with your brother, you doing that like I wasn't good enough, type thing. So you probably unintentionally just bring that back up all the time. Like that that goes back into you breaking stuff.
Yep.
So
I can fix it.
So you can fix his stuff.
Yeah.
You got to get in the mode of accepting the beauty in what's actually beautiful.
I know.
Already, instead of trying to make beauty out of madness all the time. That's dope, making beauty out of madness, but actually accept what is beautiful for what is beautiful too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of breaking things on purpose. Let's talk about some of these good times, like how you moving now and how you maneuvering through life right now in these days.
It's funny because like that was extremely deep, emotional, but I'm actually pretty solid right now.
Right.
Yeah. It's my money's cool. My health is cool. I'm very conscious and aware of like my addictive habits, and I've made sure to not let that go crazy. I'm still working on not just relationships with my girlfriend, but like my friends and people professionally. But I feel really good. This has been one of the best years of my life. Mm-hmm. It's just cool to see things that you work hard towards start to come to fruition and experience it, and then being able to experience that, but also share it with people around you that care about that same thing too.
How's your spiritual though? How are you spiritually?
Spiritually, about a month ago, I need to pray more honestly, but the last time I did was about a month ago. And I'd go to the shower, turn that shit on hot as hell, and then I just sit in the shower and I let it go over me. And then I get into a meditative state. And then until I get to that meditative state, that's when I pray. When I get to that, everything's gone. Now we talking.
Like you cleared it out.
Now we talking.
Why so hot?
Huh?
You said hot as hell. Why so hot? Why you want it so hot?
I don't know.
Did I hear you right? You said you turned the shower on hot as hell?
Yeah.
You don't know why you do that?
Just like the hot water. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So with all you've been through, how did you still find a connection with God though? Like, because a lot of us again are like, there ain't no God. Couldn't be no God if I'm going through all of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you still stay in a belief stage?
I feel like if you pay attention to what's happening around you, you'd have to be crazy to think that there's nothing controlling that.
Talk to me.
Like, if you look at every interaction with people and then go through a long period of absorbing all this stimulus in, from interactions with people, things you do throughout your day, things you see, if you take a minute and just sit with that and then look at it and you just see how everything connects, come on, man. Like, it sounds crazier for me to just say I'm just here to live and then go to that graveyard I used to stare out, you know, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
The earlier you was trying to tell me you was trying to tell us a story about we were talking about Drewski and then you went into something.
Oh, yeah. So we were just in Nashville. And so at the Parthenon, which is like a big Greek kind of replica thing, I shot some content for a song on the new album. And then we were just chilling and we noticed across the street there was these guys that were just like running and just sliding on their knees in the street. And like sparks were flying from their knees. And we're like, what the hell? Fuck? And we sit there and we're watching them do it. And then Tasia was like, Kilo, you should go do that. And he was like, I'd do it. And I was like, all right, let's go do it. And so we just walked across the street. I went up to him, I was like, hey, this is so cool. We've been watching you all for like 10 minutes now. Mm-hmm. And I was like, my buddy wants to do this. Can you just try your shit on and do it? And they were like, yeah, sure, you know? And so they got him geared up, and then one of the guys coached him through. We got it all on camera too, but one of the guys coached him through it, and he did practice takes. And so he got it down. First he went to the knees, and he did the knees and the hand, just doing and his sparks were flying. It was cool. And then we were gonna do a little skit, and he, instead of saying the Drewski, nothing but the tide, he's like, nothing but the slide, baby. And he slides and hits the sparks. It's hilarious, man. So yeah, that was probably one of my favorite parts of just happening.
Going to
Nashville.
Yeah. It
was just very spur of the moment, like, what the heck? Very positive, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is Nashville one of your favorite places to do?
I've been there twice, so I mean, it's fun. Mm-hmm. I don't know, favorite place, but it's fun.
I just heard you bring that up a few times. Maybe it was in the
we just got back, so it's like it's fresh in my mind, you know. Yeah.
Where do you find the most joy? Where do you find, I guess, self-therapy and the most joy, where you're the most peaceful and all?
Peaceful is like Colorado.
Yeah.
I like the mountains. I like the cold, thin air. You can breathe. I like nature.
What part of Colorado?
Estes Park. I don't really like Denver. I don't like the cities. I like the more cut off from everything vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You vibe out with, and do you need people around you, or you just to yourself?
Both. I think it's good to have people with you, and then I've also done solo hikes. Mm-hmm. Taking my dog solo with me on hikes. So.
Mm-hmm. You talked about earlier tearing down and building up. Not really using those words, but like separating from certain people and bringing new people in that mm-hmm. that's helping the journey now. Mm-hmm. What did that look like?
Me learning to say no and letting people down was hard because it's not even like there was people around me that were like negatively affecting me. It was just like, I guess, I mean, if you draw energy from someone and don't provide any, it is negative, but it's not like they were.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So it was tough because it's like, you ain't really done nothing wrong to me, but at the same time, it's like.
You're not doing nothing to push.
Exactly.
Push
I'm dragging you along and it's slowing me down, you know? So that's hard to do to people.
Detach. Yeah. How do you hit to that point where you just finally like, get off of me? No.
When I look at what I do and I realize that what I do was lacking things because I was spending time on those other people's stuff, and then it's like, then like seeing, okay, well I spent all this time on their stuff, so what were they doing for mine? And it's like, you know.
Yeah, but you scared of success anyway, so why not just focus on that stuff?
Because I want to succeed. There's a song on which is funny, we just talked about Colorado. So my last album, I did completely sober, and I was sober for 100 and I think it was 110 days total. Did the whole album sober, fasted 3 or 4 times a week. I got hella skinny, but I felt so good. It was just very peaceful. I was like a very somber type person. And so I did this album with these very ethereal sounds, and it was called Icarus, based on the Greek myth. And I completely forgot where I was headed with that. What was the question before that?
I said you because you're scared of success, why not just feed into them?
Ah, gotcha. Okay, this ties into the hoodie too. So on that Icarus album, there's a song called Pasiphae.
Okay.
That's a quote from that song. There's beauty in the madness, ugliness in the success. And then there's another line at the end of the first verse. I say, maybe I'm too scared of happiness, success, and what it looks like. If I'm incapable, would you try?
Say it again.
If I'm incapable...
Maybe I'm too happy.
If I'm incapable of happiness, success, and what it looks like. If I'm incapable, would you try? Yeah.
So when you say that, what exactly do you mean?
So that song is a relationship-based song, and it's basically like, how long are you gonna
Stick
around?
Would you pick me up? Would you pick up the slack? Would
Yeah.
you pick up? Yeah.
Yeah.
How long do you expect somebody to stick around for something like that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know? I'm kind of realizing I'm the problem of a lot of my shit, you know?
And the enablers too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes us enablers are the problem, just letting you just go along doing the same thing that you keep doing, you know? So it's not just you, it's the people around you too. Like we like to say, we don't like yes men around us. So
No.
if you want people to, like you was talking about earlier, be real with you about your music.
Right.
If music is an imitation of your life, you want them to be real about your life too.
Right.
Because ultimately, if your life is not, if you're not here for life, you can't make the music anyway.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That the road you take yourself down could, you know, I don't want to bring that up, but you know what I'm
Right.
saying? You
Sell your soul and get to if you don't do the right path.
Yeah, so make sure you I wasn't really talking about selling your soul. I was talking about the unalive part. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
If you're not, because a lot of times when you're not realizing what you have going on within yourself and people aren't correcting that, you start to feel like everybody's against you and everybody's the problem but you. So it's like, why am I here anyway? You know what I'm saying? That from my experience with some people, that's what I've seen. So correcting things within inside of yourself is very important. Not only acknowledging it, but working on it for real. Not only for you, but for mainly for you, but also for the people you would like to keep in your life too, you know?
Yeah.
Showing them their value by doing the work. Is a lot of people think it's what you could do physically for me, like with money and all of that stuff,
No.
or your success. No, like I just need you here, present with me, you know?
Yeah.
What is your biggest lesson in life?
My biggest lesson in life.
Yeah.
Like the lesson I've learned.
Yeah.
Damn, bro, I've learned so much. It's like, what is my biggest lesson? That's so tough. Not give up, probably.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Yeah. Not even in moments where you be giving up, like
Just
'cause
overall, yeah.
overall,
Yeah.
because it seems like you don't ultimately give up. Like eventually you get back up, but it's those other little times that you kind of like sitting in that. And I don't know if because you said you're in a better state now.
Yeah.
But I don't want like to keep you from falling back in that. Remember, like you're not only doing this for Chris, but you're doing it for you and everything and everybody who's watching that's been through what you've been through. Like you have a voice. I've had the privilege of hearing some of the stuff, and like you got some real stuff with you. Now you about to have a whole bunch of more babies under you. You get what I'm saying? A whole bunch of more Chris's that look at you for protection. You know what I'm saying? So stay powerful and strong for them to keep bringing. Well, they ain't got to hear it yet.
Yeah, they're not.
By the time it's come out, maybe they have heard it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But would you leave us marked out with some words?
Yes.
Yeah. And then pray us out.
So marked out with some words.
Marked out is just leaving words for our mind and our heart.
Believe in yourself. Believe in those around you. And believe in God.
Believe in God. Want to pray us out?
Let's do it. Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you for this amazing conversation. Being able to share this moment and allow it to be a piece that reaches the people that need to hear it. Help me heal from things I've unhealed, that are still unhealed.
Yes, Lord.
And allow my healing to inspire others to heal as well. Amen.
Amen. I appreciate you. That's heavy.
Yeah.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy to do what you just did.
Yeah.
The goal is to leave a lasting imprint on their minds and their hearts. We pray you've been indelibly marked.